brought me sprinkle cookies.
So what, no fucking TV now? Hey!
Maybe she's from Jersey. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Maybe She's from Jersey. We're your hosts, Jackie Neese.
And Alyx Curtis.
Good morning. We have a very special guest here with us today. Would you like to introduce our guest?
I don't think I need an introduction.
I was going to say.
But
He doesn't need an introduction.
He's
This is
been
actually
on the podcast.
Today we were like, you know what, Joe? You're going to be on this next podcast.
So today's sponsor is Rojo's Roastery in Princeton. I think I just got a black coffee and you got a hot chocolate with espresso, right?
Yeah.
So today's episode, we're going to do an advice episode. We try to make this like a segment, at least once or twice a season.
This is back by popular demand.
Honestly, last time was fun, and I think we got a lot of positive feedback because I guess we were like entertaining, or I was mean or something. I don't know.
Or we were just honest.
Yeah. So Joe is the master of honesty, whether you want it or not.
was that like a dig?
Yes and no. It's nice, but it's your delivery, and I think it's a male thing. And you're also, aside from being a male, you're very like sucks to suck. Is what it is.
Is what it is my motto.
So we're gonna start with it. We put up a post on Instagram, honestly, a few times. We picked like
A good amount.
I would guess the most like juicy. So, first question. My husband wants an open relationship. Should I do it? Guy, that was a good one to start with.
Wow. We jumped right in.
The one thing I hate about Instagram, and I wish we could like do better at, you could only type so much in those boxes.
Yeah.
So I always want clarification. I'm always like, how long have you been married?
Yeah.
Has this been brought up before? Is this a hall pass thing? Like, I need more context. So we're just going to do our best.
Are hall passes an actual thing?
I don't know.
Like, is that legit?
I don't know, but don't
People?
get any ideas. My husband wants an open relationship. Should I do it?
I think, okay, I'll start on this. I think every relationship is different. Mm-hmm. If that's something that you both are comfortable with and really feel like will not negatively affect your relationship, then great. But I personally have seen a lot of friends get into open relationships because they either thought their significant other wanted that and they're trying to make them happy and they were personally uncomfortable with it and didn't really like come forward about that. And it literally ruins their relationship because your feelings are going to get hurt. You love that person. And if you feel like that will hurt you knowing that they're intimately with another person, just don't do it. And if it's causing problems in your relationship, maybe you need a different partner. I don't know. I also have several friends who are in open relationships. You know, that's very healthy for them. I think it really does depend on your relationship. I feel like especially with Instagram now, there's like a huge stigma of like, this is the perfect relationship. It's like, no, right. Like every relationship's different. Something might work for you, something might not work for you. I think you really just have to be honest with yourself.
You both need to be on the same page about it. If boundaries help, great. Or if you're just like, you maybe try it once, if you're open to trying it once and then it doesn't work out. But I do think that open relationships happen because something is lacking. Think about it. I'm going to say you should make sure that you're on board and like you set boundaries. Then I would try it. If you hate it and you're like, nope, can't do this, then don't do it. I'm going to say try it. Don't say 100%, let's do it.
I do have to caution, though. I feel like if you try it and there's no, like, coming back from it. Like, I don't know, but I don't think you can go into an open relationship and be like, actually, that didn't work, and then close it back off. Like, I don't know. I think, and maybe I'm wrong. You can correct me on that, but I feel like that could kind of be really hard. What do you think, Joe?
He's feeding Leo a cookie.
First of all, I need clarification on this.
I know, it's hard.
Well, you're talking about it. Two people getting into an open relationship from the start, like, hey,
I don't know. My
here's what
husband
I'm
wants
interested
an open
in.
relationship.
Are you interested in this as well? And you're both starting that.
Yeah.
Then that's one thing, as opposed to people that have early stages of relationship might not know if this is the one or not the person to stay with, or just two people that I don't know maybe have gone stagnant or something. Hey, you want to try something new?
Right.
Yeah.
I think those are vastly different because if you have one person that's like more into it than another. If you have two people that are in it from the start, I think that's very different than if something kind of like falls off the way and they try that. Because if you have one person that's more into it than another, I don't know, like there's always going to be resentment, or if it doesn't work out, or
Isn't
people's
someone-
feelings change.
Isn't someone always into it more than the other, though?
No, but like, I mean, if you're still with each other and it's, monotonous, you're with each other, then that's one thing. But like, if one person's more into the open relationship thing, you're going to start, neglecting one side or whatever.
She said my husband, so I'm assuming that
It's
they've
not
been
a her
together.
decision.
Well, also it sounds like they've been together, like, and they're married, and maybe this is a new thing.
Well, it could be. There's a lot of like arranged marriages.
That's
There's a lot of
true.
like things happen really quick just because of certain backgrounds. They get married very fast, and they don't necessarily have to be young. But there's a lot of people that, like arrange or something. Oh, what do we do? So yeah.
So would you say yes or no? I know you need like clarification, but like based on what would you suggest?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like you said, like I think both parties have to be on the same page no matter what. So like if you're going to do it, not do it all the way, but like if you're going to do it, you have to have an understanding of, okay, here's, lay out A, B, and C. Here's what I want to do. Here's where we should go with this.
I think it takes a very special kind of person to be able to do something like that, like swinging, open relationships. I think that's because you really do have to be super confident in your relationship.
Yeah.
And yourself.
I think also my friend who I was talking about before always discusses an open relationship in the sense that there's no emotional connection with anybody else. But if you just want to like hook up with somebody, then you can do that.
So that's what I would agree with. Some people, it's, and take it with a grain of salt. Like there's some people that just want that act of whatever, whether
being
it's something
desired
different,
or like
and it's strictly, and it sounds like whatever your perspective is, but obviously there's some emotion in something, but I think those people are just like the act of doing this and then it's over, I'm done, and I go back to my person.
Right.
And it's like I did that, and a lot of people aren't okay with that. Like I don't know how I would really feel about it.
Yeah.
But for some people, it's platonic almost. Like it isn't, but it is like, I'm just doing this act and then I go back home and live the rest of my life. I don't know.
I don't think I'd be able to
me neither.
do that.
Thinking of keeping my last name, soon-to-be husband is not thrilled. Excuse you. I do support this to an extent. I think early on when you date somebody, especially when you both realize it's serious, these conversations come up. What do you? How many kids do you want? What do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to live?
Yeah.
Like those things. If you're not having that conversation, you shouldn't be getting married. But, and I do think the last name thing isn't as common as those conversations, but it should be. Like, for instance, I don't think I've ever explicitly had a conversation like, Joe, am I taking your last name if we ever get married? But I know him well enough that, like, that's what we both want.
Yeah. That also goes for, like, celebrities. And, like, even, like, this makes me think of Teresa Giudice from Real Housewives, is she's no longer married to Joe Giudice.
Right.
And she's actually remarried, but she's not going to take Louis' last name. Her brand is Teresa
last
Giudice.
name.
Like, I was very curious when they got married if she was going to take his last name. And maybe she did, and, like, her brand name is Teresa Giudice. But, like Jennifer Lopez, like Britney Spears, all of those, Ariana Grande, like when you have your name, it's a personality. It's like you said, like you research that's what comes up. It seems like they don't really take the last name. I have seen some people do. They'll change their maiden name to their middle name and then take the guy's last name so that it's still their full name. That's kind of cool.
I think that's a good idea for women that find that important. So, like
I think it's just whatever you want. If you're a woman, you can decide whether you're going to take his last name or not. But like you said, it should be a conversation.
Something that this shouldn't be coming up when you're about to tie the knot. Like, oh, he's upset. Why didn't you talk about this before? Like, he didn't know that you were going to keep your. I just feel like that's a. I don't know. That's a big conversation.
It is a big conversation.
I don't know. This one is really good. You should think of this. Do I get a lesser paid job, but I'll be happier, even though I make less money? I say, depends. if you live your life very lavishly, I don't know how much money you make, it could be a huge change and that could really affect you. But like I said, it's really how you prioritize your money, how you handle your money. Obviously, you can probably do a majority of things you're doing, maybe not as lavishly as often, but if you're working crazy hours and exhausted or stressed, you have a very high stress job, you take it home with you, you hate your boss, you dread going to work every day, you work weekends. Okay, the money is not fucking everything. I think, yes, time is more precious than money. I think, yes, you can make as much money and be probably a lot more comfortable, a little more relaxed in that sense. But depending on the job, whether it's high stress or it's taking up a lot of the time, especially things that you want to do, you just literally don't have the time. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Yeah. So if you have to think about it, if the money's really what's making you happier, or if the luxury life that you may live, or the time. So you just have to prioritize, and that could change too, which is a little scary.
It doesn't always have to be a luxury life.
Right.
I don't know. And it's all a perception.
Right.
I just think, yes, money doesn't buy happiness.
Yeah. But
when you see relationships that have, families that have financial struggle, you often see that, it just bleeds into a lot of part of their life. And it's a shame but that's the way our society is based on, is, not that it's all money, but it just, when you don't have those things to worry about, it sometimes just makes things a little bit easier. And when you don't have those things, there's, it's always, there's bills over your head, and there's what's the next, thing that we need to pay for. And it just makes it hard, especially on, the kids, because how do you say no to certain things? So you end up making decisions or running up credit cards because, I got to do this for my kids. And you're ending up, it just snowballs, one to another and to another. Yeah. And I mean, divorce is already at 60+%, you don't need, and a lot of those things, it might not, the end game is, he cheated or she cheated or they did this or that. A lot of the things, not that they'd be solved with money, but that heightened and magnified those things because they had financial struggles during that time. Yeah, it's not all about that, but I'm just saying it's.
But I could challenge that on the opposite ends. You could be a billionaire, but you're never around.
100%. So there's always extremes.
Or there's around, but you're stressed.
Giving and taking.
And you can't get it out of your minds. You're present physically, but you're not present mentally.
That's more of a personality though too. Most of these, big, moguls, these, hugely wealthy billionaire people, that's innately in their DNA of, they don't even look at it as, I need to make as much money as I can. It's the game. This is what I do. I need to win, and this is my next
Well, then let's not talk about billionaires.
Let's talk I'm saying about, normal people.
Let's say your luxury lifestyle, you make $200,000 a year, which I think is awesome.
Well above the median
and you
income.
May take a pay cut to 120. Still great, but definitely a big pay cut for someone who's making $200,000.
And I just said you're always gonna live within your means.
Yeah.
And or live out of your means.
Reprioritize.
What's his name? Who's the motivational guy? I know I don't like to quote this guy, but Tony Robbins. If you can't give a dime out of a dollar, you're not gonna give 100 out of 1,000 and 1,000 out of 10.
Right.
And that goes for anything. That goes for money. That goes for your time. That goes for, so if you're not willing to, donate 10%, what are you going to expect to get out? If you're not going to donate your time to other things, and it's not always, solving the next task or getting to the next level or this or that. If that's how you look at things, then no matter how much or how little you're making, it's all going to be relative to whatever that amount is. And that's just the person that you are.
Yeah.
There's definitely a value to your time as well. I mean, that's the ultimate value, right? How long are we going to be here? Nobody knows.
Right.
And you can go the whole YOLO approach and, I don't know, not even have a job at all. Live off the land, be a wanderlust, do whatever, and enjoy every single moment. That's great. No, but there's people that, that is what they're here for, and this is what they believe. This is what I want to do, and this is what makes me truly happy. Who are we to say that if that doesn't resonate with you, okay, and you want to, you're money hungry and want to do whatever you want to do, but we are here for a short time, and like I said, it's all relative to whatever that person's perspective is. I think that if my income was, in your example, $200,000 and I was taking half a pay cut and having more time, I would have to reprioritize my life on the things that I was able to do at one income that now I may not be. I might not be happier in those ways, but if I'm not stressed out, I'm not, working however long you're working to do that 6 days a week or something crazy, and I'm able to attend more things, I'm going to, balance that out with, my serotonin levels being, higher, because now I'm enjoying my life. So yes, you would do it. I think it depends on the person.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
My thing is, if you have something that like fuels you, like say that is the stressful job, or my thing is like I grew up in theater and I was like, I don't care what the paycheck is, I just want to do this every day of my life. Like if you have something that really fuels you, definitely go for that. Like that's something that you can figure out budgeting for your life. And I don't know, my dad would always say, if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that always sticks with me. But there's also things, if you are looking to live a certain lifestyle, you kind of figure out, okay, well then I need to make X amount. And it really does, like you said, it depends on the person. Like if you want to just, I know not personally, but I've heard of stories that someone is like homeless because they want to be. They're like geniuses and they literally want to be homeless because they want nothing to do with the, whatever.
I feel like you mean like nomads.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying in the sense of like it depends on what your audience is. If you're looking for a certain lifestyle, then it really does depend. If you can figure out a budget that works and makes you happy, that's awesome. But if there's something that like fuels you and is like filling your cup every day, I'd say go for that.
There's value
because
to that.
There's value to that. Yeah.
You can't put a number on that app.
Good luck.
Yeah. The choice is yours.
The choice is yours.
Okay, this one kind of made me cringe. My boyfriend wants me to lose weight. Is that a red flag? I did gain a lot of weight recently. Okay. I think yes, and we are like complicated on all these things, but I'm the kind of person that I'm very realistic, and I think, if I fell in love with somebody, I have no physical type. I love personality. Obviously, I think there's like a initial attraction, but a personality is like what grabs me. Like I can look at someone on the street and be like very attractive. Could be the dumbest idiot who like doesn't understand social cues and didn't pass second grade, But I do think the attraction is a back burner, in my opinion, for me. So it does matter. If my significant other, I just wasn't attracted to them anymore, whether it was weight, whether it was they dyed their hair blue, I don't know. I think that's important. I think people forget, like, aside from the fact of like loving that person, there has to be some sort of attraction and like intimacy. Otherwise, what kind of like, it's just a platonic relationship. Which I guess could work for some people.
I love you no matter what the way you look.
Oh,
is the correct answer that all guys should be saying.
Right. But
Way to go, Joe.
But think about it.
I agree.
You all know I'm right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say.
Say it.
It makes me angry. I've never had there's like a lot. I don't know what the backstory is. If somebody's saying that to you to be controlling or manipulative, to put you down in any sense, literally fuck them. Like leave. Goodbye. But if somebody's like concerned for your health, like I don't know where that is lying. If that's the conversation, that might be a little bit different. That can go in so many ways.
Yeah, there's definitely got to be more context.
Yeah.
Instagram has a small box.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is true.
If somebody's just outwardly saying that to be mean to you, literally fuck them, you should leave. But if somebody's saying that in the sense that they're concerned for your health, or they notice a difference in you, like maybe you've been sad lately, or like you're emotionally eating, something like that. It really does depend on the situation. I feel bad because I feel like we're saying that with a lot of the advice, but it's true. Like it really depends on each individual situation. If you truly love that person and you're with them because you love them as a human being, that should be that. I think it is a very sensitive topic, and it should be talked about with somebody that you feel comfortable with. That's just like, it's hard. That's a really hard one.
Like, we also don't know the context of how it was brought up. Like, were you like, does my ass look fat in these jeans? Like, I don't know what the context was. Because sometimes I'll say to Joe, is this a flattering top? And he'll be like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll say no straight up.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
It's better to be honest.
You are nice about it. You'd be like,
I'm not insulting about it, but like.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sounds like what was that? In Schitt's Creek, Alexis, I don't think that look is the best for you at this point in your life.
I love Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, it's the best.
I know.
I don't think either of us have the personality. Like, if I gained 50 pounds, like, forget it, and that's, I think, an extreme, but I don't think you would ever even let it get to the next point. Like, Joe, like, you would word it in a way of, like, I think you'd have much better health if you were to lose weight.
I would definitely
like,
be blunt about it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, next question. This was fun. Starting a podcast, any advice?
Yes, lots. Thank you.
Do your research on equipment. Have a brand ahead of time. Have a color palette.
Have a concept.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we really went for like, no, I feel like we did because we really wanted to be prideful of where we're from. There's been something so great in every time we're just advertising for a local Jersey shop, and there's just like a lot of Jersey pride around food and drink and things like that. So we have like our niche, you know what I mean? And we also, our concept is we just want people to feel like we're all friends. That's our goal, is to just kind of have that friend group kind of thing. So yeah, we're all friends here.
You definitely need a brand. You need basis of what you want to talk about. Equipment wise, I would definitely do your research. It depends on what you want to talk about, what you want to do.
Budget.
Definitely set yourself a budget. Otherwise, you'll just throw money left and right, not even realize.
Yeah. So that's another thing about, make sure you get a camera that works for a podcast, that works for long form video. My camera is more for like a vlog type. So you're turning the camera on and off. This camera shuts off about an hour. It says, go fuck yourself. Also, very important, the engineer side of it is very, very difficult. If that's something that you do not want to get into, I would definitely just dip your toes in that first, because it's very challenging.
Yeah, like how to work this like machinery is wild.
Yeah, like where you want to record, and literally like this thing that is our interface is where we plug in like all our microphones, our headphones, the thing that I record on my laptop, everything that we record together. Shit was expensive. We have a lot of stuff. I feel like we could literally do a whole episode on that, though. Like, we've learned a lot.
It definitely is a lot of time, too. Like, aside from figuring out your brands and, like, specifics of what you want to showcase, how much time do you want to put into it? Because when we first started, we were at each other's places every weekend. Either she was here or I was there every weekend for, like, 5 months. It was a lot because we were just trying to keep up. And on top of that, in this world today, social media is huge. So we needed to have our social media on point. We now have a website. We have merch. Like, it's a lot. So just be prepared. If you want some, you get in what you put, you get out what you put in.
Yeah.
It takes a toll, like, socially, if you're doing it last minute.
Yeah.
I feel like all I did from January of last year to August was record. That's like the most memories I have is the traveling back and forth, like 3 episodes a day, TikToks, Reels. It's a lot.
Yeah, I think we have pretty good wheels on this second season because we've learned what not to do, what to do, like what's been working and stuff. But also there were times, remember when we recorded like several episodes and we just lost the footage?
Yes.
Like that happens a lot.
That was terrible. So sad.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And it's even like I'll send it to our editor. We also have an editor that does this for us. Shout out to Allie. We talk to her all the time. Without her, like we'd be editing this ourselves fully.
We wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like it's very, very time consuming. But I remember I sent her something and she's like, these are all blanks. And I was like, what do you mean they're all blanks? And she was like, yeah. And I reopened it back up on my laptop and it's just gone. The whole recording is gone.
That happened like 3 times.
Yeah.
I think the editing is like just as long or twice as long as
that's why I'm saying I don't think
getting the content, recording it. Like,
we wouldn't do it because we'd have to hire someone, period. Thankfully, we know somebody, so it wasn't as much of a search process, but we don't have the time and the software costs money.
Yeah.
It's
it's a ton.
And I'm just not like Allie, she's listening and editing this, like, thank you. But you have to have like an ear, an eye, like the way that she edits things, like does funny nuances, like with things that we say, like she, that's something that comes with experience.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't confident to do in the beginning. So no matter what, we were going to hire somebody.
Yeah.
But we got really lucky.
Yeah.
Allie.
We also figured out how to like split up work evenly. Like I do a lot of like the engineer side and the uploading and downloading and uploading the podcast on Monday mornings, like those kinds of things. And my big has been doing a lot of when Allie sends us the rough draft edit of the podcast, she'll listen to that and make final edits, and you do a lot of like the descriptions and stuff. She'll set up like our calendar. I reach out to a lot of people. Like we've kind of figured out like good balances of like what works best, and some weeks like she's having a really busy week at work and I'll take over, or like vice versa, like I'm like swamped and she'll take over. Like we kind of try to help each other out with that, but it definitely is helpful to have like a co-host that you're doing stuff with. So
and friends.
Yeah.
To be on your podcast.
Yeah. And I feel like we've had friends give us like honest feedback and stuff. And Joe, what's your opinion of being the significant other to
a
watching this?
I definitely didn't think in the beginning that I knew it was gonna require like some work, but then when you actually see it like in action going on, I mean, you guys just have a constant multiple group chats with different people, like going back and forth, whether it's editing, whether it's finding new people that are coming in, what content
Instagram
you're doing,
group
Instagram
chat.
like there's so many moving pieces, and it is, I mean, it's, you have full-time jobs too, like, which makes it hard because it's just this is always your spare time. It's always in the background on every day, and you see something happen or you're reading something, oh yeah, like let's talk about this in the podcast, or let's do this, like it's always in the forefront. But definitely admirable that you guys are starting this and doing it, and doing it the way that you're doing it.
Yeah. And you get to be a guest. Like,
this
when would you have ever in your life thought to yourself, I'm going to be on a podcast?
Joe Rogan's reached out to me a few times for an advice section too.
Right. But think about, like, did you ever think you'd be on a podcast?
In the back of my head, there's always something like, I think I might become famous on a podcast.
Now you're famous.
But no, I probably didn't.
I don't know.
It's fun.
I think life's so cool that way. Like one little domino, it's such a butterfly effect. Like, it's crazy. Like, we had a casual conversation and then boom, podcast. A year later, Joe's famous.
I don't know if I could do it like as much as you guys do, and then that's probably just my job, that it doesn't allow me or afford me the time to be able to do it as much as you do. I also think you guys are much more loquacious. There's a
what the hell does that
spelling
mean?
bee word for
It's
you.
It's a GRE word.
Is it a GRE word?
Yeah,
it
that's
might be.
He helped me study for the GRE, and that was part of my vocab.
Yeah.
Loquacious?
It means talkative.
Oh.
Very talkative.
Love it.
But yeah, you guys are gifted with that.
Yeah.
You're going to be our manager
Gift
one
the
day.
gab.
Joe is our manager.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for asking the advice questions. That's been back by popular demand. Everyone really liked that on the first season. Also,
check out Rojo Roastery in Princeton.
Honestly,
the coffee's really good. Also, thanks Joe for coming on, and this
anytime.
morning. Yeah. We hope you guys have a great week. And if you have any follow-up questions or you hate what we said, let us know.
I also think it'd be fun to have Joe have his own shirt, and the catchphrase, I'll say, one of the shirts says, "We're not mean, we're just from Jersey." His will say, "Take it deep."
That is my slogan.
I love it.
So take it deep. Have a great day. Enjoy your Monday, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.